Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, let us be alive. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so happy to be here. I feel like I've been holding on to this talk for weeks. I'm about to explode. I love the ongoing evolution of my spiritual journey. I bought I'll date myself. I bought my transcendental meditation mantra when I was 16 years old for $100, and I paid for it mostly in ones because I had saved up for it. And it seems like all through my life I was looking to have more, to be more, to experience more, to live some kind of a greater life, because I knew that whatever it was, what I was living wasn't it. I didn't know what it was, but I knew that this wasn't it. When I was 3, I went around and I told people I was a princess and would they please help me find my rightful family. There was something in me that said, this isn't it, there's got to be something more. And so as I've moved through my decades of spiritual exploration, I've had highs and lows, and I've had surges, and I've had times to pull back and just kind of process it all and integrate it. And so my process recently has been, once I hit 60 a year and a half ago, what am I going to do now? Because you know, I'm 60 now. Maybe I need to start practicing some self-care. Maybe I need to take a nap. Maybe I need to let things slide a little bit, because we're doing great. My career is doing great. Our center is doing great. Our people is doing great. Really? Do I have to push? At what point in my life do I stop pushing and striving? And maybe I should consider the possibility of, instead of striving, sliding. Now you know me, this is weird talk from me. I think I was a little tired. But then, as so often happens in my life when I'm at turning points, I went to spend some time with Edwene Gaines. And something happens to me when I go and spend time with her. It's great when she comes here, when I'm at one of her workshops, and that's all wonderful and fantastic. But when I go and spend days with her, things change. At one point in my life, I went and spent a week with her and came home and got a divorce. That's not happening now. But these are the kinds of changes that she calls out in me. And not because she's saying, Barbara, you need to change. It's because she reminds me of who I am. And she reminds me of who I am simply by remembering who she is. And so a few weeks ago, I went and I spent a week with Edwene. And something happened, because I really looked at, how do I want to live the rest of my life? Do I want to slide, or do I want to strive? And if I want to strive, what does that mean? And you know, Edwene is all about the work is being done on the inside. The outer is simply a reflection of the inside. And if you want to have anything shift in your life, you have to go within and look at what it is that is blocking us from the good that is rightfully ours. It's not like we have to go chase it down, or we have to go find it, or we have to create it. It's that we have to stop blocking it, because the universe is just pouring it down. And sometimes we're saying, no, 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 don't do that. And that comes from feelings of inadequacy, not being worthy, guilt, shame, all of that BS. That's a belief system. That's what it comes from. Our way of looking at ourselves. And if we want to have things change, then what is it that's going on inside of us? And so I had some time to kind of look at my life. I was all alone there. I mean, there were other people there, but I was alone. And I could sit in my room and just kind of, you know, think about who I am and what I'm doing and where I'm going and where I want to go and what price I'm willing to pay to go there. And what I came up with was that I have a great story. I have a story about growing up poor, about being on my own from a very early age, fending for myself, made me scrappy. You know, I went to elementary school and they couldn't understand what I said, and so I had to go into speech class because they couldn't understand me because of the environment that I came from. And so I learned how to depend on myself. I learned how to communicate. I learned how to ask for what I want, and if I didn't get it, take it. I learned how to take care of myself. I learned how to create in my life so that when I found this teaching, it seemed very natural. Well, of course we're creating our experience. I've been doing it all my life. And I have this great story about our center. It's a wonderful story, and I love it. It's how we started in our living room 20 years ago. It's how we took a 12 by 60 foot mobile home and cut the front of it off with sawzalls and sledgehammers and built a 30 by 30 foot room on it and covered it all with siding and pretended it wasn't a trailer. How we came upon this land, it was given to us by one of our members, and we built, and we didn't have any money, and God bless South Trust Bank who lent us money and the people who signed for it, and how that went from South Trust to Wachovia to Wells Fargo, and then we bought the property next door and built the Youth and Family Center, and how we did this, how I did this, how we did this, and we created something wonderful. I'm really proud of that. And yet I don't want to stay there. I don't want my pride at what we have accomplished to keep me from accomplishing more. I don't know if this makes any sense to you, but I know that we've all done a lot. We've been through a lot. We've come out of it. We're shining bright. And then the question is this it? Have we gone as far as we're supposed to go? And I got to tell you, the answer is no. The answer is no, we have not gone as far as we're supposed to go. We're supposed to continue evolving in consciousness and growing and expanding. So I want to thank you for your generosity, for how we have created this amazing place, for how we've paid our mortgages, $13,500 a month, and how we have done that because you are generous. Because you believe in giving and supporting that which spiritually feeds you, and we've done that. And how we can continue to do that if we want. But it occurred to me that if I want to take another step, and I'm hoping that you want to come with me, I think what would be cool to do would be to pay off our mortgages. We don't have the money, because we do. We are doing very well. We actually, for the first time in 20 years, have money in the bank just because it looks good. But what if we use this as a spiritual exercise to pay off the mortgages of this center? And what if not only do we pay off the mortgages of this center, but every person in this center pays off the mortgages of their home, yes, the money that's due on their car, on their boat, on their second home, on their credit cards, and that we move into a consciousness that says we are debt-free. We do not owe people out of the money that is coming to us. We are clear. We are current. We are in the now moment of our spiritual finances. How would that be? And so I know that it has nothing to do with finances. And it has nothing to do with mortgages or credit card debt or car payments or anything like that. It is all on the inside. And John and I have a great mental equivalent for this, because we don't owe anybody any money for anything. And I remember it was 15 years ago when John got his PhD in organizational psychology, And PhDs are pricey. And so he had this wonderful piece of paper, and he had a $60,000 student loan. Yeah. And we were making our payments. We were doing that. We were being good with that. And one day he said, you know, I'm tired of paying on this student loan. I'm going to pay it off. And I went, well, good luck, because there's no way we've got $60,000. You know, we're generating money, and we're running the center. We were out in Fairview in our mobile home, and we were doing our work and keeping it clean. I think we just moved here. And so we had just moved here, and then we had all of the bills here, because this is more expensive to run than a mobile home out in Fairview. And he said, I'm going to pay it off. Okay. I don't know how you did it, because we didn't have $60,000 come in that year. We certainly didn't have an extra $60,000 come in. But inside of a year, it was completely paid off. The power of intention, the power of claiming freedom. So what I want to talk to you today about is, what is it that you want to be free with? And what is it that is keeping you held back from your freedom? Because it's all about the inside. And I brought it up to a few people so far. I brought it up to the board. I brought it up to the practitioners, and I brought it up to the leadership council, because I wanted to check out the leadership of the center and see if that was something they could embrace. And invariably what comes up for people is, how are we going to do it? Let's have a car wash. Let's sell cupcakes. Let's have a designated account that people can give to that will go only to the principal on the mortgage payments. And what I want you to know is, that's not the way it happens. The way that it happens is what is going on inside of me that thinks my old story is all there is to me. And that's true for whether it's an old story that has me in a position of victim and suffering, or whether it's an old story that has me triumphing and being great. It's still my old story. What is it that's going on inside of me that is going to allow me to embrace that greater me yet to be? And that me is free. The greater me yet to be is free. Catch that, David. So what do I need to do? And if I go back to the teachings of Edwene Gaines, she says it's all about forgiveness. That all debt is a lack of forgiveness. So I'm going, oh, come on, Edwene. I've been working with you since I was 28 years old is when I met her. 28 years old. She was pretty young, too. I've done a lot of forgiveness work. I've done so much forgiveness work with my mother that she sat in that row for years here. And we had a wonderful relationship. And then I started making a list of the people and the experiences that I could still forgive. And what I noticed is that I've forgiven a lot of the big things, but I have a lot of little things that I could let go of. I have a lot of little ideas of, this didn't happen exactly the way that I wanted it to happen. This person didn't do exactly what I wanted them to do. This should have been a different way, because I, Barbara Waterhouse, all-seeing, all-knowing, know exactly how everyone and everything is supposed to be. And I started making a list. And I'm amazed at how big it got. Giant things, but maybe you've got some giant things. Maybe you've got big issues that you're ready to let go of, only if you want to be free. You don't have to do this. Nobody has to win the lottery, have their mortgages paid off, have their cars given to them. We've had people in the center who have actually been given houses, title to live in. We've had people in the center who have been given automobiles. A lot of people have been given automobiles free and clear. We've had someone in the center who won the lottery. These are not far-fetched ideas. You don't have to have that. You can stay in what you used to be. Or we can do something here that is so big and so powerful that it carries all of us with it. All of us. I don't even want to play with the idea of what this center could do if it wasn't making mortgage payments. How we could use the money that comes in the baskets through the mail, through PayPal, and the 40 to 50,000 people a month who are listening on our website. Thank you for your donation. Because if I go there, then I'm dealing at the world of effect. I'm dealing with, this is how we can do it, and this is what we're going to do once it happens. And what I need to do is stay disciplined, to look inside of myself and say, where can I let it go a little more? Because as I let go of what I'm so full of, there's more room for more to come in. Where can I let it go a little bit more? Where can I open my heart a little bit more? Where can I love everyone exactly where they are? And what occurred to me as my list got longer and longer and longer over the last couple of weeks, and I was on vacation, is that the real person that I need to forgive is me. That the only reason that I am critical of anyone else around me is because I first hold criticism of myself. And I've done a lot of work on that. I basically think I'm fantastic. I basically think that I am gifted, that I am clear, that I am powerful, that I am doing what I was meant to do here, and still there is that within me that needs to let it go a little bit more. Mother's Day. There is an internal critic with me about my mother, about me as mother, that I let my 5-year-old son go to live with his father. What kind of a mother is that? One that knows what her kid needs, and that's what he needed. And maybe you have an internal critic because you've done some things, you've got some things in the closet. This is not a place for being in the closet. Come on out. You've got some feelings of shame or blame or resentment or feeling like someone or something has done you wrong, and that's all about us on the inside. Maybe you've got something like that going on. And I invite you to let it go. To start with yourself, and this is not going to be a one Sunday shot. I'm going to bring this one home. We're going to bring this home. We're going to use this as a way for us as a community and a culture to raise our consciousness. We're not going to raise funds. Funds are on the outside. Funds are on the world of effect. We're going to raise consciousness and allow ourselves to be so clear that not only the center prospers from it, but every person who sits in these seats, every person who listens online, every person who feels that they are a part of this community is going to prosper and thrive. Why? Because we're going to let it go. We're going to make a little more room for life to fill us up. We're going to stop blocking the good that is rightfully ours. The entire universe is trying to pour down a blessing upon us that we can't contain, and we've got the shields up trying to keep it off. That's crazy. Why? Because at some level we feel like we don't deserve it and we shouldn't have it. Otherwise, each and every one of us would be flying in and out of here with our private jets. So what is it? What is it? Even when we think we've done all the work, even when we think, well, we're doing pretty good, what is it that's going on inside of us? How is it that we still get hooked? And if it's on the outside, it's on the inside. It's got to be on the inside first before it can be on the outside. If somebody can hook you, you are hookable. And you are only hookable because you are busy hooking yourself. So what is it that you need to let go of? That you did what you did? Take a deep breath. You did the only thing you could do, given the circumstance that you were in, the knowledge that you had, the tools that you had. You did the only thing that you could do. You did what you did. If you could have done anything else, you would have. And since you didn't, you couldn't. You did the only thing that you could do, so let yourself off the hook. And while you're letting yourself off the hook, why don't you let everybody else off the hook and make a little room? Make a little room for life to love you a little bit more, for the universe to give to you a little bit more, for your body to be healthier, for you to be happier, for money to pour into your life. Make a little more room and stop being so filled up with the old story about what we are. My story's a great story. I wouldn't change it for a minute. I learned how to be poor and I learned how to be rich. I like rich better. I know, because I have a choice. I wouldn't change my story at all, but I don't want to stay in my story. I don't want to stay in my past. I want to move forward. I want to thrive, not slide. And I invite you to join with me in a process that will shift the consciousness and the culture of this community. Every last person in this room, think about it. No revolving debt, no payments, paid in full. No mortgage payment, paid in full. No car payment, paid in full. No boat payment, paid in full. Whatever else you want. Motorcycles, scooters, bicycles, clothing, whatever, paid in full. If you want that, you have to change inside of yourself and stop feeling like you still owe to the world because of what you did, because of what you should be punished for, because of what happened. You don't owe anything. You are clear right here and right now. You have a clean slate. You are paid in full. The universe is what's got your back. The universe has your bank account. The universe is in charge of the money that you experience. If you open up and have that experience that you are paid in full, it will show up in your life. And the stories are going to be amazing. Are you in?
Yeah.
So your first assignment, of which there will be many, pull out your program. Does anybody need a program? Will somebody run out there and get some programs and pass them out? Because in your program is your first assignment, and that is the Center for Spiritual Living Asheville Treatment for Freedom. We treat for freedom. The money shows up. The relationships heal. The bodies get younger because we are free. We are no longer held by the bondage. What is it that Ernest says that I love so much? The Science of Mind and Spirit makes a tremendous claim when it states that the individual can be free of illness, poverty, and unhappiness, but it makes that claim without hesitation and without qualification. It does not back down from that, and it never will. I am not going to back down from what I believe. I believe that each and every person in this center can, right here and right now, have more money than you know what to do with. That we can not only have everything paid, but then we have a surplus to play with. That money is meant to play with, not to be budgeted out for the rest of our lives, that this is going to come in and this is going to go out and that's all we have. But that money is meant to be abundant and to play with it. That is the promise of Science of Mind, that each and every one of us are free from the bondage of illness, poverty, and unhappiness. Not free tomorrow, but free right now. So as we do the inner work to let it go, to forgive everybody and everything and everyone, first with ourselves, we make a little room. I want to ask you to do this treatment daily. Daily, daily, daily. Next week you're going to get more homework. But if you don't do the changes on the inside, the outer is not going to change. So if you want it on the outside, I trust that you are willing to do it on the inside. And I invite you to repeat this treatment with me. If you don't have it in front of you, you can read it on the screen, but it's really small on the screen. So I think it's a little bit better in front of you, and we'll repeat it together aloud. I speak my word for myself, my center, and all its members and friends. I know love as the only reality. I am created out of love. Love is what I am. I know this love as absolute freedom in every area of my life, the life of my center, and all who call it home. I know our center's mortgages release any sense of struggle or wrongdoing. I live in an abundant universe where there is more than enough for all. We experience freedom in every moment by always having more than enough money, vibrant health, and loving relationships. We are who we have come here to be. With hearts open wide, we see the world through the eyes of love. We are